Hey everyone, welcome once again. I would love to introduce to you one of my clients and my guy who's been with us for a few months here at Rockstar. And I want to introduce to you guys Thomas Ranieri, the founder and director of Post Creatives and Blue Star Digital Agency. All right, Thomas, great to have you here.
Thank you,
Welcome.
AJ. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here today.
Awesome, awesome. I'm so excited. By the way, thank you for your time here. I really appreciate that. And all right, for our viewers for today, can you introduce how did Post Creative started and when did you started it?
Great. So I started a company called Blue Star Multimedia 12 years ago. And
Mm-hmm.
Blue Star Multimedia was a full service agency. And I had a full team in house, video production team, web design team, writers, SEO people. It was a small team of about 10 people, but we were very powerful and did some really great work. What had happened was I wanted to focus on just the video production end of things. After about 6 or 7 years of being a full service agency and having all of my designers and everybody in house, I decided to sell that portion of the company and become a video agency only. I understand the importance of video and how the campaigns work both on Google and in social. And I saw a real opportunity to become, you know, focus on just one aspect of the digital marketing realm, if you will. In addition to that, I really have 35 years of video
Wow.
production experience. I know that I only look about 22 years old. So how you can say, how do I have 30?
I see. I
So
see.
I really started to focus on becoming the best video agency that we could be. And as a direct result, we're located in New Jersey. And last year we won Most Creative Video Production Company. And this year we won Best Video Production Company according to the Global Business Awards. So
Nice.
we really focus on creating quality content at affordable prices and really focus on helping our clients grow. Now, I know that sounds very cliche, but we have case studies where we have helped some of our manufacturing clients gain $200 million projects. They've
Wow.
incorporated our videos into their sales process, and they've really done extremely well. Other smaller companies, like some of the software companies and the IT companies that we work with, are reporting 20% growth year after year using our strategies. So really absolutely love what I do on the video side. Every single person that works with me has been hand selected and trained by me, and we love that. But if you talk to Jan was the project manager on my project. He'll tell you that I go 100 miles an hour. I'm up at 2 in the morning. I work from like 2 o'clock in the morning until I can't stand up anymore. So I'm constantly working, and I love it. I just absolutely love it. So I said, I think it's time. I'm a little bit bored. I think it's time that I want to bring back the website portion of this and logo
Mhm.
design, brand guides, web design, introduce a couple of local SEO strategies and start helping some micro companies and medium, small, the SMBs of the world, small and medium business. And, not just with the video, but the entire package, because I saw a need for it to come back because a lot of my clients who I do video for complain that they just can't find a web developer who will get back to them in time, who understands their industry, or nightmare after nightmare. And quite honestly, I don't want to put the industry down, but trying to partner with some of these companies, I don't know if it's just because they're overwhelmed with business or they don't have process and procedure in place. I don't know, but I found it very difficult even for post creatives to get my, now that I didn't have an inside. I used to have a webmaster, two graphic designers, and a writer who used to do all the work for post creatives. That didn't exist anymore, and I figured, well, I'll just affiliate with or partner with somebody. And as a direct result, my website for post creatives didn't represent like the actual work that we did anymore. I couldn't get timely updates. I couldn't get timely, I love good design. I mean, a good design combination with video is so important. I was on the search for a few years to find the right web partner because I didn't want to get into post,
Yeah.
COVID. I didn't want to get into start hiring people full time and paying payroll taxes and paying, salaries and so on and so forth. I wanted to very, very specifically work on a per project basis. I wanted to find a white labeled solution. I wanted to find a really good partner. And as a result, I searched for many years and quite honestly I came up blank, over and over and over again. They would always start out well and,
Mhm.
then they would sort of fizzle out after a while. Now, I will say that in part that's because of me too, because I'm 100 miles an hour, right? And I want dedication and I want attention to detail and I mean, crazy me who wants I want something good for my company. I mean, that's how crazy am I, right? So
By the way, how did you get your first client? What happened there?
do you want to know how I got my first client 35 years ago or my first client when I opened up
In
my
the
company?
post creatives. In the post
So that's a
creatives.
great question. So when I opened up Post Creatives, I had an idea. I just literally had an idea because I was a freelance camera operator for a company called Metrovision, and I
Mm.
didn't have my own company. And I wasn't allowed to take any of the equipment because I didn't own the equipment, from Metrovision, and I didn't have any of the clients, and I didn't have the rights to show any of the footage. So I literally had nothing but an idea and a desire to want to start my own business. So I started, I had no business card, I had no logo, I had no brand, I literally had nothing. I didn't have anything to show anybody, no videos, no body of work. And I would go to networking events and I would talk to people about the importance of video. 12 years ago, social media started to become really important, YouTube and Facebook especially. I don't think Instagram was really big back then. And I really was talking to people about the importance of creating videos for their brands and advertising on social media and Google. And I had nothing to show them. I would show up to my appointments with a yellow pad and a pen
Yep.
and dream. I would just dream big with them and say, what do you want your company to look like? And one of my first clients, he owned a country club, this big golf course in this big country club. And he invited me to his country club for lunch. And he said, I don't know what it is about you, but I love the way you dream. I love the way you have the ability to tell a story. And I said, that's all we're doing here is we're telling stories, right? And we're going to tell,
Yeah.
it's about the tone and about the inflection and when to say this and when to say that and how to, hook, somebody in. And he goes, well, what about the equipment? I said, don't worry about that. I'll get everything. I said, I just want to know that you're committed to wanting to do videos. And we did the videos and they were a huge success. And then
Nice.
every single person in those business networking meetings now wanted to know who the young guy was who was creating all of this video content. And then the owner of the country club on Friday nights would have this huge networking event where there was 200 business owners there. And he would allow me to have 15, 20 minutes of time where I was able to put the videos on the big screen and display how powerful the videos were. And then we got a chance to network with all the other business owners. So it was like, that pad and the pen I told you I had, I just literally was taking orders, from companies who now wanted to do business with me, and the owner of the country club was raving about me, and it just snowballed from there. And so I literally had nothing but a desire to start a business and a dream and kind of blossomed and took off from there. A lot of those small business owners, after their project was over, would tell me, man, that was Manhattan quality that you gave me for, New Jersey price. I should have paid more. That's what they would tell me. I should have paid more. So it didn't
What
take me
happened there?
long.
You mentioned earlier that you have a job that time. You quit to your job after that, or what happened?
Once I had the job, I was still working. Once I knew I had something and it didn't take long, I immediately transitioned out of that into the business and then went just gangbusters and went in full time. So I didn't let anything affect me. The economy, I had a wife, I had young children. At the time, my son was away at college, and within the time he came home, after his first semester when he like took his Christmas break or something like that. He came back and I had all these people working for me and I had office space and threw my first Christmas party for my employees and my clients. And he was like, what did you do? I went away for one semester. What did you build here? And you did it quick. And so that's the way I like to work. I like to go all in.
Yeah, you mentioned earlier that you're 100 miles an hour. So, speaking of that, when we are starting our business, it's like we want speed, we want to go fast. How did you balance that? You have a family at that time, you have a lot of things going on since you were just starting the business. How did you balance that life and business? How did you
So
do it?
that's a great question because I am a family man. I'm married to my high school sweetheart. I'm 58 years old now. I've been with my wife. I was her boyfriend at her sweet 16.
Mm.
And we literally grew up together and we have three beautiful children and a wonderful family. And it is very important for me to be a part of my family. So it's all about time management. It's always been about time management. So I knew that I wanted to coach my kids in Little League. I knew that I wanted to go to all of their school events. I wanted to be in their life. I wanted to be a dad, right? I wanted to be a good husband. So I would literally carve out chunks of time because those were
Mhm.
the things that were important to me. And those were the things that were most important to me. And I really kind of love my work tremendously. But at the end of the day, and it gives me tremendous joy and pleasure, my job. Sometimes when I don't have work, I'm a little bit bored and I'm like, what do I do with myself? But the number one priority always is going to be my family, always. So it's about prioritizing what's important to me and then making time on my calendar to make sure that I do my priorities first and then everything else comes afterwards. I don't know if that answers your question or not, but it
Yeah,
worked
yeah,
for
I
me.
got it.
It worked for me
Did you had a time where you doubted your business, like when you were starting? Because
every
I've
day,
experienced.
every day.
How about you? Just want to know.
Every day, still every day, I'm a human being
Yeah,
and I'm always trying to push the boundaries and try new things and make investments in myself and in my company, investments in myself with knowledge, always trying to reinvest in myself, going to seminars or coaching, whether or not I feel like when the time is right to buy the newest cameras and the newest lenses or maybe
exactly.
invest in people. While I might seem full of confidence, I'm a human being who, worries about everything.
Yeah.
So, I'm a very spiritual person and I hope it's okay to talk about this, but, I have a prayer
Yeah.
life. God is very important to
Mhm.
me. And, we have conversations every day, God and I. I sit in prayer and meditation. I pray to talk. I meditate to listen and then I ask for guidance, So yeah, every single day I worry about whether or not this will all, could it go away. So I don't think that any of us are bulletproof as owners. And I think that the fact that we stay hungry and stay determined and stay curious, if you will, is sort of our secret weapon. I don't want to get complacent.
I remember when we started Rockstar company, like we started from computers that is not high tech, very cheap computers. That's the story in us. So how about you? Right after you quit your job, do you have complete computers right there, high tech gadgets? Do you have kind of thing? I want to see how it started in your room. Did it started with a good computers? What does it look like?
It looks like I went to Best Buy, which is the local electronics store, and
Yeah.
bought $1,000 camera and I think a laptop or something like that, and on my dining room table. And my crew members, we would go out and film, and then we'd come back to my house and edit on my dining room table. And we had minimal equipment.
You hired immediately or your teammates
Immediately.
immediately? Wow.
Immediately. I didn't wait. I was very strategic in that I was able to sell a job for a certain dollar amount. If I could shoot it myself, I would. If I could appear on that set or that job site as a producer and director and bring a camera person with me, I would. On the editing side, same thing. I would put it in the budget to have, a camera person and an editor. Now it's much different. Now it's, you're going on set, you have a director of photography, you have a sound person, you have a grip, you have a gaffer, you have production assistants. It's a completely different world. But I knew out of the gate that I was not going to be able to scale a business by myself. I would be able to create a job for myself,
Exactly.
but not a business that could run itself. So I hired people almost immediately.
Most of our viewers are entrepreneurs or also like us. In terms of handling and managing employees, do you have any advice to our viewers, to our listeners?
Well, I don't have advice, but I can share my experience with you. Here's my experience. It is my experience that when I first started, I would look to hire the most talented people that I could find. Now, I don't know about for you, but it's my experience that many of the most talented people don't work well in team environments. Think they know it all. They think they don't want to be challenged. They don't want to take direction. They seem to be like that lone eagle mentality. At least the most talented people that I found acted that way. I wound up having some really bad experiences with trying to find talent alone. So over time, after getting burnt many times from hiring talent alone, what I started to do was I started hiring people with integrity and good work ethic, and that they came from a good family or a good home, or that they had to be good people first. And
Nice.
then we could train them in their jobs to be good at what they do on a technical scale, if that makes any sense. And that has worked out for me in the long run in terms of loyalty and quality. And, my team, tries to encourage me all the time now, take a break, take a vacation, stay home. We don't need you to come on this job. And it's not because they're trying to get rid of me. They appreciate me, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
where in the past that wasn't necessarily the case. I had people who would say, well, we're the talented ones, we want to be your partners. I actually considered it. I said, okay, listen, in order for you to be a partner, you have to capital up,
Yep.
you
Yep.
have to buy
Correct.
in to be, I have an LLC. If you want to buy into being a partner. And I had one time people say to me, well, why should we do that? We'll just steal your client list. I mean, I literally had that happen to me. When I tell my story that this was a skyrocket to success from nothing to what I have now, that's not the case at all. I've had many problems with personnel and personalities and managing personalities and economies and overextending myself financially to help people. When somebody was in financial constraint, I would front them money to help that person. Never get it back. Just never get it back. Moving forward, it's all about values, morals, ethics, good person first. Then we'll worry about the other stuff later on.
Got it. Got it. Have you remembered the first time you got fired your employee? The experience that you fired someone.
Sure.
You remember what happened?
Well, I just told you the reason, right? So I had people who came to me and demanded to be partners. And when I asked them to capital up, they told me they were going to just take my client list. And,
Oh,
I had to physically, there was two people that I had to physically ask, didn't bother to show up that day, or he came in late and I wound up calling him and telling him to not come back. But the other one was there and was very uncomfortable. I had to ask him to actually leave and remove your passwords from the computers and leave your keys. I didn't have security, I didn't have a security team that did an exit interview or anything like that. I had to, do it myself. And it was very difficult and not something that, I was prepared for or comfortable with. It was always like, I want to take care of my people. Let's pay them well.
exactly.
Let's know who their family is. Let's go out on, company outings where we go out to eat or out for drinks or something like that. And so these people weren't strangers to me. It wasn't like I was asking a stranger to leave my house. This was very difficult because they were people that they're in my business. They're in my home. They know my family, they know my wife. They know my clients. Very intimate,
Now that you are a successful man, you have these businesses on your hand. How do you manage your time now? Like, how many hours? Speaking of working hours, you mentioned earlier, how many hours are you working a day? What's a day look like to you right now, Thomas?
Literally is all over the place, and I don't have any set hours, and I'll tell you why. My wife, she works. She enjoys her work. She works out of choice, not necessity. My children are all now adults and out of the house. And, I tried to, do other things that people do, like play golf or, get hobbies, not for me. So that was one of the other reasons why I wanted to start Blue Star Digital, was because I was bored and I had a lot of creativity in my head about this new idea. I wanted to start trying to use AI, to create some of the images and do something new, have a new challenge in my life, even at my age. And like I said, I'm 58 years old, and not many people in my age are wanting to start new technologies and so on and so forth. So I found it challenging. And so to answer your question, please don't go by me, because, I'll go to bed at 8 p.m., but I'm up at midnight or maybe 2 in the morning. And I don't toss and turn, try to go back to sleep. I come down, I put up a pot of coffee, and I have a home office, and I come right down to my computer and I start working. And then I carve out time. I'll go to the gym, I'll carve out time to have lunch. I'll carve out time during the day to, be good to myself and do things for myself, or, maybe make sure to take a break here and there. But I don't have any set hours. I'll work, I'll work in the middle of the night. I used to have, like I said, a lot of people that just worked for me, in-house, right? Like you, I had a brick and mortar building. But now post COVID, I don't have that anymore. And I thought to myself when that happened, how in the world am I going to conduct business? How in the world am I going to work with a team? How in the world am I going to do this? I was lost. Like you said, to answer your question from before, as I found that I could start working with talent from all over the world, any part of the world.
Exactly.
And I found, like, literally, I found this whole new world. I found that I could tap into talent everywhere in the world. And so I've worked with people from literally all over the world at all different time zones. And because I
Yeah.
don't sleep anyway, it worked out well for me.
Yeah, the remote thing was booming, was like explode when the time like 2020, 2021, when the COVID
Yeah.
hit everyone. Like our industry on the digital space, everyone hopped on the digital space and everyone started their agency. Some of them are valuable, but some of them is not. That's the reality. That's what's happening right now. And I remember, by the way, I remember like last 2020, I guess, one of the biggest challenge that impacted us was we lost, like, not lost on sales, but we got scammed for like around more than $20,000. I cannot do anything that time. I don't know what to do. I'm not sure what will happen on the next month, kind of like that. And we were just starting that time. That is one of the biggest challenges that we faced few years back. In your business, what was one of the biggest challenge that you've encountered?
Two major challenges and two major hurdles I had to overcome. At one point in time, I needed, like you said, cash flow is very important in a business. And while we had lots of clients, people would want to pay net 30, net 60, net 90. Now it's different. We have different, billing systems imported, but we needed an influx of cash. We needed to buy all new equipment. We needed to buy new servers. We needed to buy new computers. We needed to buy new cameras, new lenses. We wanted to stay current with DSLR cameras. We're going out with very expensive, high quality cameras. We're going out with Reds and applying for the first time for a business loan, lines of credit. That can be very stressful. But thank God, we had good credit and we showed profitability and we were able to obtain revolving lines of credit and loans to buy equipment and things like that. While we still have to worry about making payroll and things like that, we had this cushion, if you will, that we could tap into and not worry about were we going to make payroll that week, not because we weren't working, but because of the way the clients paid us, if that made any sense. The second big hurdle that we had to overcome, like you said, came in 2020, 2021, when the pandemic hit. And here in New Jersey, our state government, our governor, deemed me non-essential, which means I couldn't open. You could only open your business if you were deemed essential. And so I had $100,000 worth of business, that clients' actual contracts. I had $100,000 in revenue lost, a quarter of business, because we were booking job a month to
Yeah.
3 months. And so I lost $100,000 in revenue. And then we weren't deemed essential for 10 months. The line of credit and, all the money was going towards rent and all these other expenses, and we had no income coming in at all. and we were closed for 10 months. And then after we were allowed to open, our clients weren't ready to spend money yet because,
Exactly. Yeah, yeah.
world was coming to an end, and, why should I market my company? Was the mentality.
Exactly.
A lot of people were just, suffering from cash flow, right?
Exactly. Exactly. So now my last question is that now that you are now on those business that you have right now, what is the future look like on your business? What will happen? What's coming next? What is the plan?
That's a great question, and I have an answer, but I don't know that it's the right answer because I don't know what I would do with my time afterwards. I have been approached not once but twice, but to sell my company. People have asked, "We really love your brand. We love your work. How many clients do you have? How many clients do you have on retainer? What's your EBITDA?" The people are asking me, "What do you gross? What's your gross revenue look like?" And so social media companies have been approaching me to, wanting to buy what I've built. The database, the brand, I think it's extremely important to build a brand. That's one of the reasons
Exactly.
why I love building a brand is because,
Exactly.
it's going to be sellable, but I have to make sure that when I go, it's the right time. And then I have to make sure I want to take care of my people as well. My wife and I are going to be going to Italy on vacation for 17 days in July. And I'm kind of hoping that traveling to Italy will be something I enjoy doing. And maybe I will get closer in my mind to selling or semi-retiring so I can travel with my wife because, she is my priority.
You should come here also in Philippines with your wife. You can visit here in the Philippines.
As long as I can stay at your house.
Yes, sure. I can pick you up at the airport.
Sounds good to me. So listen,
Awesome.
before we go, I actually have to run to a shoot right now. My team is waiting for me to show up.
Nice.
I want to say this, and this is unsolicited. You did not ask me to do this in advance. We're just having a conversation about business. I want to let you know real quick. I was on Facebook one day and I saw one of your ads and I saw that you had a subscription model. And I also immediately noticed the quality of the work, graphic design work just really popped in my opinion. And I see those kind of ads all the time, but there was something about yours that stood out. And it made me actually want to click it, go to one of your landing pages. I said, well, I've tried working with 5 other companies in the last several years and none of them worked out. What do I have to lose? I made an appointment with one of your people. They had a conversation with me about my goals, my wants, my desires, my dreams in terms of what I wanted to do. I said, I have an idea for a new business. It's using a lot of this AI technology and, so on and so forth. And I want to see if I can partner with you guys on this. And again, I go 100 miles an hour,
Yeah,
quick,
yeah.
quick, quick, change the speed, right? The speed your team kept up. They were polite. They seemed happy to be working on my project, genuinely happy. It was as if they were my team, dedicated to me. Project manager, a web dev team, graphic designers. You made it very easy with the project management software. I have something that we have created together that I'm extremely proud of, that I could not be more happy with. You guys exceeded my expectations, and we just launched that new brand. And I will continue to work with you, logo design, brand guides, websites, funnels. You're going to have all my business until you guys don't care about me anymore. But I don't think that's going to be the case.
Thank you so much, Thomas. Really appreciate your time and super appreciate that compliment to my team as a founder, as a CEO of this company. I'm really like, I don't know how to say it, but I'm super happy to hear those things. And of course, we will continue to do that to all our clients. So thank you so much for your time, Thomas. And to our listeners, guys, you can check out Thomas Ranieri to all his social media accounts. By the way, they can check your pages in Facebook, right? Facebook, Instagram, correct?
Yeah, so it's postcreatives.com, postcreatives, postcreatives.com, and bluestardigital.agency. And from there, they can link out to the socials.
Awesome, awesome. All right, guys, thank you for your time and have a great day again. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.